time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Well, happy Wednesday night, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. I guess if you're listening to the podcast, it could be morning or afternoon as well. So, anyway, thank you very much for subscribing to the podcast. Thank you very much for watching on the stream tonight here on YouTube and Twitter. As always, the Oil Stream is brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Their blackened chicken burger is back by popular demand. It was one of those items that came around for a little bit, and then people are like, "We got to have it back." So it's going to be back for the summer months. So spicing up your summer a little bit with that Popeye's blackened chicken sandwich. They I don't know if they'll have them at Commonwealth because they won't be able to keep them on the shelves anyway. Everybody's going to be so excited. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
Not much. I'm actually very excited for Sunday's game, and my game plan is to have a chicken sandwich from Popeye's at Commonwealth.
Get it early.
Well, I am going to be going down there a little bit earlier to see Will and the Wolf, our good buddies, Raimai and Lucas and Brandon and the boys from Will and the Wolf. So go check that out. And I honestly do want to get a Popeye's chicken sandwich when I go to that game and crush a few beers on an absolutely beautiful day, hopefully at Commonwealth.
That sounds like a great time. I wish I could join you guys. That would be so good. I have to work. Lame.
I do not.
I'm looking forward to the game. It should be a good one. Actually, it should be a really good game. Beautiful day. Great festivities. Awanik's trying to keep tabs of tickets. He's thinking they might push up towards 30,000. So that would be awesome as well. So hopefully that would be good. All right, we'll get to your Boston Pizza Appetizer coming up. We've got a date and time locked and loaded for our next live on location. That'll be on June 26th. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Inside the numbers for Cool Bet, we'll talk a little bit about Dylan Holloway. But Tom, we have to talk. I mean, a huge trade in the National Hockey League yesterday. Provorov going through Los Angeles, 30% retained, then shipped to Columbus. The Kings do move some contracts out, giving them some additional cap space, and then Philadelphia open for business. So we'll get to that in a second of what could be next for the Philadelphia Flyers. But just your thoughts on the deal and the Kings being involved in freeing up more cap space, which is obviously something that Oilers fans should keep tabs on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a team that the Oilers are going to be duking it out with again, probably this upcoming season. And I was baffled by the Cal Peterson contract when he was given it. The way his game devolved last season, I don't know if anyone would have predicted that, but I mean, it just put the Kings into a tough spot. And I know people are probably already, looking at Jack Campbell going, well, if LA can do that, why can't the Oilers? Well, I think that Jack Campbell has more of a track record than Cal Peterson does. And I think that the Oilers are pretty set in having him and Skinner come back. And we talked about it before. I know something's going to pop up in regard to goaltending right away here, but good for LA to move that contract. Provorov, Philadelphia and Columbus, to me, Dusty, and I'm not dialed into Columbus and I'm not dialed into Philly, but when you talk to like friends and our peers that are in Philadelphia, it just sounds like it's a mess. And so Columbus, I want to say this, like with Babcock and making this move, and it just feels like they want to do things the hard way, doesn't it? Like Jarmo Kekalainen does things the hard way. And I don't know where they're going and what the direction of the Blue Jackets is. And the Flyers are right there in that boat. LA's a good team, and they made a shrewd move, and we'll see what happens from here on out. And then they made the Gavrikov signing. So that's pretty good.
I think for the Kings, it works out pretty well. We had Rashog on my show way earlier this morning, and we were talking about the Los Angeles Kings a little bit and freeing up this cap space and stuff, Tommy. And, Rashog pointed out, he goes, the Kings could be a thorn in the Oilers' side for the next few years with Cap coming off the books, Kopitar's contract off the books. And somebody texted in and says, Dusty Stopp's been kind of hinting around Draisaitl on the Kings for a long time here. And I was just like Rashog was like, I'm not saying anything. And then somebody else was like, Stopp's kind of been hinting that the Oilers should be scared that the Kings might sign Draisaitl when his contract's up. A thorn in the side on the ice for sure, but the Kings, are the Kings putting themselves in a spot to be an attractive option for significant players who would be coming free agents over the next few years, and I will include Austin Matthews in that conversation more so than the two guys here at Edmonton. Like,
the answer is yes. It's always an attractive place to go play, and that just juices it up. And if they're going to retool and continue to be a feisty team, of course it's going to be a lucrative and bit of a free agent magnet. So yeah, the answer is yes. Would it or should it worry Oiler fans? I mean, Oiler fans are going to worry about everything until everything's perfect. So yeah, I guess so. But this is just me. I'd look at Austin Matthews and I'd go, well, he seems more like the LA type. And I feel like he would also be more willing to move on from whatever Toronto has built up.
Yeah.
To jump at an opportunity like that, because it's a different mindset. American hockey players to Canadian hockey players and even European hockey players, it's a little more casual in terms of passion. There's a lot of passion there, but look no further than Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau. I think those are good examples and templates as to just, how American players, some of them, not all, approach that side of the game, if you will.
Maybe a contract gets done with Matthews here right away, but if not, he does come off the books before Leon Draisaitl would, and you'd have to think the Kings would try to move at that if he was to become available, right? So there's that window there as well. So I don't know. That would be, the Oilers play the Kings again in the playoffs this year and the next year, and then Leon Draisaitl goes and signs there as a free agent. I'll just screw off. Like, there's no way. That's not happening.
I'll tell you this. They hate each other. Like, those teams hate each other. Those players they hate each other. I don't know if a fat contract, big contract with lots of term on it would be enough. Like, if LA's and Edmonton's are very similar, I don't think Leon's going, screw Edmonton, I'm going to go to LA just for S&Gs. No, that's not how it works. Something would have to go seriously wrong here, or the direction of the team would have to falter, and then he'd have to consider it. But
you can say shits and giggles on the podcast, Tommy?
I know. Shits and giggles.
There you go.
I should have just said it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some words we usually wouldn't say, but shits and giggles, I think we can probably get away with. So let's get into your Boston Pizza appetizer here. And we've got a bunch of questions from listeners that we'll get to as well. Yeah. If you're watching on the live stream, you want to chime in, feel free to do so as well. The Boston Pizza appetizer, of course, patios now open at all of your Boston Pizza locations. Appy hour, 2 appy hours, 2 to 5, and then again from 9 until close. And we will be at the Namao location on Monday, June 26th at 7:30 at night. The old classic Monday night oil stream, Mr. Gazzola. That should be a good one.
That comes at the request of one Renato Lorenzo Gazzola, who has boys golf night, and he's like, we should be done by about 7:20, and we're at BP Namao at 7:30 every Monday night. And so Tara, yourself, myself, we're like, okay, we'll make this work. And actually, kudos to Tara from BP's, who actually asked awesome. My dad. She's the best. And my dad's like, well, 26th would be great. And we're like, ask and ye shall receive. I don't know what he's done to get this special treatment, but good on Reno, I guess.
I feel like he has like part ownership in a BP's location somewhere, and he can call some shots. It's like Goodfellas. I recently watched Goodfellas for the first time. Yeah, exactly. Where's that at? Right? That would be good. All right, so the Philadelphia Flyers are open for business, Tommy Gazzola. And I think anytime any team in the league like clarifies like, hey, come trade for our guys, Oilers fans are going to get so hot and horny with these big trade boners walking around, just excited to see what happens. Carter Hart's the one. Like, I got a tweet last night from somebody who's like, so what do you guys think? I'm like, think about what? They're like, Oilers and Carter Hart. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I didn't think anything about it. Should people be thinking about it, Tommy?
Go for it. I mean, they always do. And it's listen, it's a great story. First of all, he's a tremendous guy. I think he's a good guy. All my interactions with him have been excellent. I saw him last summer. He's like, what's up, Tom? I'm like, you remember me? He's like, yeah, I remember when you interviewed me at the con. And he grew up here. So I think everything I've interacted with him has been great. And listen, tons of potential. And again, Philadelphia is a mess. So to hear that they're open for business, willing to move on anybody, and if they want to move out Carter Hart, that's okay, cool. But in terms of the Oilers and Carter Hart, I also saw, I got one of those. I think we were both tagged on the same one, I believe,
Okay, maybe,
last night. And I just said, don't get your hopes up. I'm sorry. Okay. And then I'll say this. I followed up with someone from Hockey Ops last night because I knew this would be coming up today. And I will read you the response. Won't be here. LOL.
There you go. Done and done.
Yeah.
Done and done. You said a bunch of very nice things about Carter Hart. The thing that I'm a little surprised by and why I might be hesitant, and it's not like his numbers haven't been great lately, but the Flyers have been a shit team in front of him too. So I'm not going to put all of that on Carter Hart. I mean, when you watch him, I don't watch him very often, but the times I have watched him, I'm like, hey, he doesn't look the same as he did in those first couple of years. But the confidence with a bad team in front of you, certainly could take a hit. I guess for me, I'm like, why is Philadelphia moving on from this guy? Like, that would be like what he makes $3.9 million. He's an RFA at the end of this season. The recent play isn't going to cost you an $8 or $9 million deal on this goaltender. You're a team that's starting a rebuild, and you've got this guy who's got 5 years NHL experience, and he's only 24 years old. And that's a piece that you want to move out. I mean, it reeks of like Chicago trading out all their younger pieces just to tank. That would be my one area of like, what's going on here? Why does this team want to move Carter Hart?
I'm wondering those same things. I think part of it is the organization. Maybe there were some internal conversations too, where he's getting fed up. I mean, their coach isn't the easiest guy to deal with, although some people say they love him, but it feels like they're stuck in neutral, and maybe, one side or the other side is getting fed up, but whether it's the player looking at the team going, come on here, or the team looking at the player going, you know what, man, we just don't think you're going to be the guy. And maybe that's why the appetite is there to look at possibilities of moving on from him. Does it make sense from over here? Not a lot, but there's been a bunch of those moves, and I think Chicago, that's a good example as well. And I'll point to Columbus again and be like, what are you guys doing? And Philly's now in that boat. I mean, it's an interesting organization that has some weird dynamics in there. And I think they're in a time of transition, and maybe part of this transition would be moving on from their franchise goalie because the mindset's different. But if he does stay, good for him. I'm sure he's going to be just fine. If he does move on, then whatever team gets him is going to be looking to get back that Carter Hart that showed so much promise in the past.
I think one of the best things I saw was somebody chimed in the show this morning. It was like, classic Philly, tank for Bedard a year too late. And I was just like, yeah, that's not a great look. That's not a great look at all. That's your Boston Pizza appetizer, the Mayo Boston Pizza, Monday, June 26th, 7:30. Nice little summer evening. Maybe get some beers on the patio after. I mean, I don't even know, buddy. That could be a pretty good time. Sticking with Philadelphia for a second, I'm about to walk out of the studio this morning. Low Tide set up for his show, and he, Low Tide, you gotta love Low Tide. And he's like,
always.
I said, hey, what do you think about Konecny? And he goes, Yamamoto and Broberg, would you do it? And I was just like, I don't know.
Yes.
I think now they would have to retain, right? Because you can't do that. I mean, he makes over 5, Yamamoto makes 1. So but yeah, I think I know we talk about how difficult it would be to make trades, and you'd have to sacrifice something significant to do it, Tommy.
Yeah.
But that might be something that you legitimately take a look at. I mean,
well, if I should have said this too when we were talking about the Flyers, like if they said and they're declaring that they're open for business, sniff around.
Yeah.
But I feel like probably if you're not sniffing around to find out what the price on some guys are or what the Flyers are thinking or looking at, then you're not doing your due diligence. So I would assume, knowing what we know about the Oilers brass, Kenny Holland's penchant for making phone calls to see, and I would assume the Oilers would sniff around and see what's available with the Flyers and float an idea of a Yamamoto trade. Oh, maybe Broberg. What do you guys like? Absolutely. Explore it. You should. So I think that's something that probably will happen or has happened. And but just in terms of the Hart thing, again, won't be here. LOL was the response I received.
Konecny's got 2 years left at just over $5 million or 5. And let me just double check. I was just looking at it. I forgot. 5.5. 2 years left at 5.5. So there'd have to be some sort of creative play there. But he would be that guy that you lock into the top 6 and leave him, right? Then your top 6 is legitimately put together. All right, let's get to some questions that came in a little bit earlier today. This one we don't have to answer, but Min Darwal says, "What kind of house will Carter Hart buy overlooking the river valley?" I'd say a really nice one, Minner. Really nice one if that ends up being the case. Carmen asks about anything on Carter Hart rumors. We already discussed that. Skinner, Yamamoto, Xavier Bergeau, and a first to get Hellebuck, sign him to a long-term deal. But then what are you doing with Campbell anyway? Then you've got like $13 million in between the pipes. Like not reasonable there. David asks us, agree or disagree? There is 0 chance that Yamamoto is back next year. 0 chance. Tommy, would you agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think that there is a slight possibility, like if they really can't find anything. But never say never. I think he's gone, but I don't think there's a 0% chance. Like some things might not work out, and they might have to have him around for a bit.
This one's on Twitter from Sloppy. Does the LA Kings trade yesterday make for a more aggressive Ken Holland? Do you think he's impacted either way by that, Tommy?
I would think no. Like, he's obviously watching what the Kings are doing, but I think that the Oilers' game plan, and it's not sexy. Like, listen, it's not sexy unless something comes their way that's so extravagant that they have to do it. But it's getting those bottom 6 guys lined up, maybe looking at a veteran blue liner like a right shot guy for really cheap, but I don't think it kicks Kenny Holland into overhaul mode right away. I think he's the patient type anyway. So they have to have these meetings. They have to just decide what they want to do. Do they want to make a trade on the back end? Can they wait? Do they want to see what kind of year CC has? Those are conversations that are about to be had. And the pressing issue would be to get their free agents signed. Bouchard, obviously. McLeod will probably go to the very last minute again. And expect Derek Ryan to get re-signed, by the way. Sounds like both sides want to make it happen. And he's very much valued in the room. So that should be getting done.
So that's just a matter of finding a number then.
Yeah.
On Derek Ryan. All right. Northside YEG says, does the Oilers talk ever get a break? And the answer on a podcast called The Oil Stream, that answer would be no. And like I said before, it's kind of like this sickness we have in this market. But our off-season numbers are better than like regular season numbers for downloads and stuff. So people are desperate for that off-season talk. And
Was Northside Yeg like frustrated with Oilers talk, or was it just I don't know, like, hey, what's going on?
He does have his Twitter handle is Oil City 14.
Yeah, there you go.
But his profile picture is the Elks logo actually. So I like that.
Ready for
That's good
season.
too. He's ready for football season. Which totally makes sense.
Were there any other ones? Like, did anybody ask about Heritage Classic or anything like that?
No, but what do you got?
Well, I mean, the logo that they unveiled is kind of it's nice. It's a nice logo. Some of the quotes in terms of like the reason why there's like an oil derrick, and I'm like, it's like because of the numerous oil derricks in and around the Edmonton or the Alberta capital city. And I'm like, I haven't seen one in forever. I'm not gonna lie to you. What else? People were asking if the logo hints at the jersey colors because there's some red in there.
Okay, yeah.
The answer is no.
Okay.
You're gonna the Heritage Classic jersey is gonna be based blue, orange, the regular royal blue, and then the only difference is it's like that off-white, like to make it a little bit old school.
It looked a little bit older looking, yeah.
Yeah, and people with the Edmonton Mercury's mock-ups, you've basically got the spirit of it there. With a couple of twists. I've been sworn to secrecy, but I'm hinting at a few things. And then the other thing with jerseys, people asked if there's like another jersey coming down the pike at some point, and they've got something cooking up in their lab a couple of years down the road. And then people ask about the copper and blue, like the old like 90s, early 2000s. The alumni apparently are switching to those old jerseys. So for alumni events.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Lots on the go. Did you say coming down the pike? Is that
It's
the
the
actual
pike.
saying?
Yeah.
I always thought it was coming down the pipe.
So did I. It's pike.
It's
apparently.
pike. What does that mean?
It's like chomping at the bit, not champing at the bit, right? Or is it champing at the bit, not chomping at the bit?
The phrase "down the pike" has been established to mean in the course of events.
Yeah.
Increasingly, down the pipe is being used,
right?
With the same meaning. But okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you guess you can kind of go either way with that one. All right.
It's like regardless, and people who use irregardless when irregardless really isn't proper. Yeah. But it's used so much that it's just been accepted. I think it's one of those situations.
I hated English class, and that's why I talk instead of write. It's just no thanks. No thanks. Let's get inside the numbers for Cool Bet. We'll take a look at a bunch of different players here over the next few months. Tommy Gazzola, over or under 34.5 points for Dylan Holloway next season?
Oh, I want to say over. Like, I really do.
Do you like that number? Do you like that number? It's
that's
like in the range.
Like, tough. I'll go under. Because some people still think he needs a little time in the minors, like to really get into a groove.
A final touch of seasoning.
Yeah, exactly. Because he got banged up again last year, and a tough start to the season up here, obviously. And so I'll go under. I want to say over, but we'll see. I'll take under. What are you thinking?
I think we asked this question again in September once we see what they've done to the roster. You know, like it's tough. If they haven't brought in a legitimate other option in the top 6, then I'd probably take the over 34.5. But let's just say, for example, we're not saying it's going to happen. We're not saying it, but let's just say they go and get Konecny. Then I'd be taking the under 34.5 for Dylan Holloway. So, yeah, I mean, as of this moment, I think I'd take over because I don't know if they're going to be able to land that other top 6 piece because financially they're kind of effed. So, but you know, we'll make sure to mark this one down and circle back around to it. Also, Original Puzar, who threw a question out via Twitter. It's a bigger discussion, OP, so we'll get to it in a different episode for sure. Yeah, it's a good one, that's for sure. All right, Tommy, that's going to do it for this episode of the Oil Stream, buddy. Get us out of here, man.
All right, thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and big week 1 in the CFL. Dusty, looking forward to catching the highlights when you call the game this weekend. I'll watch whatever game you're calling. Where are you off to, by the way?
I'm in Winnipeg Friday and then back here for the game Sunday. So
okay, I'll be watching. I think I'm at the Kevin Lowe roast. That should be a great event, but it's going to be a fun weekend. And if you want to do something good on Sunday, go out and check out the Elks game. I think they're gonna snap that ugly losing streak at home, and Dusty will be in attendance for it.
Man, get to call the game that snaps the streak, hey? Wouldn't that be something?
You're good luck.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Do the thing. Subscribe and all that stuff.